Hello everybody, welcome back to Into Aviation. Today we're going to discuss about a runway excursion which happened on June 14, 2020. Before we get into the video, I hope everyone is staying home and staying safe. On this note, let's talk about runway excursion which happened at Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam on 14 June 2020. What is a runway excursion? A runway excursion, RE, is a veer off or overrun from the runway surface as defined by ICAO, which is the International Civil Aviation Organization. Now, in simple terms, runway excursion can be explained as an event in which an aircraft veers off or overruns the runway surface during either a takeoff or a landing. In the month of July 2019, we had seen 3 runway excursions in India in a span of 48 hours. The following pictures you see is of an aircraft Boeing 737 previously owned by VietJet Airbus, but this particular flight was being operated by SpiceJet, which came in for landing at Bombay and overshot the runway, and a runway excursion had taken place on July 1st. Guys, Bombay Airport, commonly known as Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport or formerly known as Sahara International Airport, is the second busiest airport in India after Delhi and the 14th busiest airport in Asia. And in 2017, Bombay International Airport surpassed London Gatwick's airport to be the world's busiest single runway airport. There are 2 runways in Bombay, but it's an intersecting runways, so at any given point of time only one runway is operational. So, and on July 1st, when this incident had taken place of a SpiceJet aircraft, the airport was shut for 48 hours, and that caused a lot of issue with passengers and holdings of flights above Bombay, a lot of diversions around India. Now moving on, let's talk about the incident which happened on 14 July 2020. It was of VietJet. Before we get into the incident, let's understand what VietJet was all about. Now, VietJet is a Vietnamese low-cost carrier starting their operations around 2011. It has a fleet of 75 Airbus 320 family aircraft currently in service. So on June 14, 2020 at 0522 Zulu, a VietJet aircraft Airbus 321-200 with a registration Victor November Alpha 657, which was delivered to VietJet on March 27th in the year 2018. This was basically a 2-year-old aircraft. Now, this particular aircraft was conducting a scheduled flight with the flight number VJ322 from Phu Cu to Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Upon landing on Vietnam, the aircraft had suffered a runway incursion, and the official statement from VietJet states that the airplane, passengers and crew are all safe. All passengers were disembarked and transferred to the airport's arrival terminal as a normal procedure. This is the flight path which was taken by VJ322, a screenshot which I have taken from Flight Radar 24 again. And if you see the final moments of this aircraft, I'll play the video for you. If you see this particular aircraft coming into land, it touched down on the runway and then veered off towards the right, moving away from the runway after crossing 2 taxiways. Here are the few pictures of the damage. As you can see, the right wheel is damaged and the aircraft engine is almost touching the ground in this particular picture, and this picture was taken by some passenger, I guess, from the terminal. And if you see the flight radar image, the aircraft did touch down on the runway, but at this particular intersection it started to veer off from the runway in the right direction and went into the muddy patch areas. Let's have a look at the VVTS METAR. Now, VVTS is an airport code for Ho Chi Minh City. The VVTS METAR, as you can see, issued on June 14th at 0500 Zulu, 290 wind direction, wind speed 04 knots, variable direction of 200, varying till 350, 8,000 meters of visibility, showers, rain, scattered clouds at 1500 feet, few clouds at 1700 feet, and CB temperature 32, dew point 25 and QNH 1006. Temporal from 0510 until 0540 hours, the winds in the direction of 240 were gusting from 15 to 28 knots, and thunderstorms, rain. Remarks, CB overhead runway. Now if you see the same METAR for the same airport at 0530 Zulu, in the direction of 300, winds were gusting from 10 knots to 26 knots. At the same time, thunderstorms and runway, and remarks again, CB overhead runway. Guys, the incident took place between 0500 to 0530, around 0522 approximately. Here is a video which has been released by Vietnamese media in their news channels of what exactly happened. It's not a full video, but then it's just a final moments of after the aircraft came to a complete stop. As you can see, the aircraft is completely stopped, not on the runway. It's on the right side of the runway. The firefighting services are approaching to check if there's any damage or fire in the incident. If not, obviously they're not going to spray the water or chemicals to extinguish the fire, and they'll be disembarking the passengers. Now, damage to the aircraft. The outer layer of its right side tire had sheared off completely. If you remember the image which you have seen like a couple of slides earlier, the aircraft's right side engine is also resting in the mud, this particular part. Now, how does this impact other aircrafts around the vicinity of Ho Chi Minh City? As you can see, a scheduled flight from Tai Pai to Ho Chi Minh City, you can see this particular blue color pattern which is following the number of holes it had to get into because the runway being occupied or runway being unusable because of an excursion which has happened. Not only this particular flight, you can see all these flights around the vicinity are in hold. Now, obviously a question arises. Ho Chi Minh City has two parallel runways. Now, why didn't the ATC or other aircrafts use the other runway to land? Why didn't they use runway 25R or 07 left? Now, runway 25 right or 07 left was not open due to a disabled aircraft on the tarmac. So at today, or June 14 to be precise, they had only one operational runway, which was 25 left or 07 right. Again, from June 2020, due to COVID-19, a massive 18-month runway upgrade project has begun in Ho Chi Minh City, upgrading the runway 25 right, 07 left runway as well as several taxiways in the airport. NOTAM was issued for runway 25 right, 07 left, temporary closure of runway for survey. Remarks: during this time, ILS, DME and lighting system on runway 25 right, 07 left are shut down. The working area is marked with signboards and no entry. Pilots are requested to follow ATC instructions strictly. Guys, this was the main reason why, even though they had two parallel runways, they could not use the other runway for avoiding the hold or necessary delays which happened due to VietJet 322 runway excursion. Now, what causes a runway excursion? Primary reason is runway contamination. Adverse weather conditions, it's a part of again runway contaminations, mechanical failure, pilot error, unstable approaches. Now, these are few factors which lead to runway excursion. Let it be takeoff or let it be landing again. Now, let's understand the definition of a contaminated runway. Means a runway of which more than 25% of the runway surface area within the required length and width being used is covered by the following. 1. Surface water more than 3 mm deep or by slush or loose snow equivalent to more than 3 mm of water. Snow which has been compressed into a solid mass which resists further compression and will hold together or break into lumps if picked up. The third one will be ice, including wet ice. Guys, this is an example of runway condition assessment matrix, also known as RCAM. This is the most simplest pictorial presentation which I could find to explain to everyone. So in this particular diagram, if you see, before every flight comes in for landing, ATC gives you the braking action of the runway. They either say good, good to medium, medium, medium to poor, poor, less than poor. Or certain aerodromes around the world, they give the runway condition code RWYCC. They give the code as 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now, if you're coming into land and if an ATC says braking action good, that means braking deceleration is normal for the wheel, braking effort applied and direction control is normal. That means you're good to go. 6 is obviously the best. And suppose you're flying in an aerodrome which gives you the RWYCC code. Let's say they say 0. Braking deceleration is minimal to non-existent for the wheel braking effort applied or direction control is uncertain. Now if this condition is you need to calculate your landing distance required, you need to be proactive, you need to be extra cautious in preventing the landing from becoming a runway excursion. Recently on June 3rd, 2020, in Mumbai, a runway excursion happened. MD-11 of Fedex, after landing, overshot the runway by 9 meters. Here is a video which I wanted you to look at. As you can see, it has come in for landing, and just at the end of the runway, it has overshot the runway by 9 meters. Fedex had given an official statement that there was no damage which had taken place to the aircraft, and the aircraft was towed immediately out of the active runway. Keeping in mind the fact that monsoons have approached in India, we are going to see a lot of wet runways all around the country, and I hope this monsoon stays runway excursion free, and I hope, post monsoon also, we don't have any runway excursions in India. I think runway excursions can be avoided by good airmanship, good crew coordination, or well planning and good communication with the ATC to get the existing and prevailing conditions of the runway. And on this note, having understood what runway excursion is all about, I would like to take leave. Till next time.